Hello everyone, I'm Daffy, the general manager of a large company with a huge fortune. I can get to know many rich and classy girls on my level. However, a lover was bought by me, not a girl of my standard status. I know her in a reluctant case. That was the time when Barr signed a contract with a partner. When I had met the guests in the VIP room, the contract was signed smoothly, and we had fun drinking for 2 hours when my mind started to get heavy. I ask everyone's permission to go out for a bit so I can feel awake when I go to the toilet. I feel like someone is watching me. After a while, I came out of the toilet. Unfortunately, I bumped into a girl, alcohol spilled all over my shirt, and I was really angry. But when she looked up at me, oh my God, she was so beautiful that I could not blink for a few seconds. The bar manager saw that and ran to criticize her and knew that she was an alias. Not knowing why I didn't feel angry, I offered to pay for the alcohol she spilled. But what surprised me was that the manager said that she was just an employee working to pay the debt here. If she doesn't pay off the debt, she'll have to work for the bar for the rest of her life. I was a little uncomfortable inside. I was very generous and said that I would redeem her. Sounds crazy, right? I didn't even know who she was, but I dared to spend so much money to buy her back. Actually, I'm not short of money. After redeeming her, I knew that she had no relatives left, so I decided to take Alias to my home and allow her to live with me as a little sister. What surprises me a lot, she's not as timid as the day I met her in the bar. I try to keep my distance from Alias, however, she was quite comfortable touching my body. In the evening, the first day I took Alias to my house, she sneaked into my room and was only wearing a bathrobe. She begged me to sleep together. It was hard to resist a provocative girl. I couldn't calm down, and Alias and I wrapped and hugged me tightly. And we started going over the limit. And our love begins. These days, my company has a problem, and I have to go home very late. I and she often have conflicts and quarrels over many days. She may not even come home and say she will sleep at your house. Ever since I knew her, Alias has gotten used to my pampering. Alias has begun to know how to use the money for personal use. She bought everything, even bought it but never used it once. But she became increasingly shady. In my account, Alias has drawn an unusually large amount of money every month. What does Alias use it for? I shared this with my best friend Adam. He said that I should travel to calm down, then come back and solve it easier. He and I travel a lot together, but unfortunately, I had an unintended accident. My leg was broken, and I had to wear a cast for a month. While in the hospital, I came up with a daring idea and exchanged with Adam. He strongly agreed and helped me complete the procedures. Do you know what that idea is? I will create a fake situation. Instead of notifying Alias that I have broken my leg, Adam will help me with a fake medical test with the result that I am blind and paralyzed, so I have to ride in a wheelchair. I also asked Adam to spread the news that my company was on the verge of bankruptcy because no one was active. I asked my assistant to close all the accounts she was using. I want to see what Alias would do without my money. Not long after that, I came back with a cast on my feet and my glasses. Alias was so panicked she cried when she heard Adam say that I would lose my eyesight for a while and maybe I would be permanently blind. I still haven't told her that the company is about to go bankrupt. I think it takes a reasonable amount of time for my lie to make sense. Alias seems to be spending all my time on me. She said things about the future that touched me deeply. One night while I was sleeping in the room, I suddenly heard the laughter of women somewhere on the toilet. My legs are still not healed, so I cannot go down without Alias's help. I saw Alias in the blanket still sleeping, and she covered her face tightly, so I had no intention of waking her up. But if the toilet is not an Alias, who will turn on the light and laugh in it? Just thinking about it gives me goosebumps. But I was shocked to see Alias in the mirror. What? I quickly flipped my hand over the blanket and saw it was a long pillow, not an Alias. Why did she do that? Whom did she talk to? After that day, I began to pay more attention to Alias's actions. She will leave me the city once a week. I'm not sure whom she's visiting, but it seems like a good friend. She has kept that habit since loving me, but now that action made me suspicious. I think it's long enough for me to tell everyone that I'm going to bankrupt. I called Adam and asked him to act with me a play. Adam came to my house while Alias and I were eating with us. He panicked and hinted that I went to my room with him to talk to the company. We deliberately didn't lock the door and spoke loudly enough for Alias to hear. I could clearly see Alias's shadow behind the door. Surely the plan was successful. Due to the reason the company lacked a CEO, she was in big trouble, and she believing it to be true. I was helpless, sad, and walked towards Adam. I then went back to the dining table, and Alias also returned to the table position shortly after. I declared that I will cut down all expenses on her bank account because the company is in need of money. She immediately got angry and scolded me badly. She said I was a disabled, incompetent person. I was shocked and couldn't argue back. My heart hurts greatly when I hear criticism from Alias. Alias went into the room and packed all his clothes and belongings and brought suitcases for the night. I didn't think she would turn away so quickly. Does Alias really love me, or just a bit impatient? For a week, I couldn't contact Alias, even though I called her a lot and asked my friends to search for her. But I happened to see a strange medicine box in Alias's room. It looks very similar to the medicine I use to replenish my body. But its pill box isn't the medicine I'm taking. I read the user manual on the bottle. Oh God, this is a drug that interferes with brain development. If used too much, it will lead to stupidity. I often forget recently, is this the Alias used to harm me? I wanted to find her and ask Alias clearly. I asked the investigator to find her to see where she lived, and I found her living outside the city. This place is where Alias usually goes on weekends. This is the hotel I used to invest in, so accessing the hotel is not difficult for me. I asked the receptionist and found out she was in room 1109. I went to the hotel and walked down the hall and to the front of room 1109. I was stunned to see two naked bodies lying on a large bed. They seemed too excited to forget the door lock. That image broke my heart. It was Alias, and that man was the manager of her former bar. Turns out everything they had staged together on purpose so they could take my money to spend. When they learned that I was blind, they considered killing me to monopolize the entire property. I kicked the door open and ran to hit the bar manager. Alias was shocked to learn that I was blind just pretending. I told them all the truth. The manager of the bar wearing clothes ran from that room, and Alias cried and begged me to forgive her, saying all this was the plan of the bar manager. I lost all my love for her. I sent her a ring I ordered long ago. I think it makes no sense. Then I left Alias alone, and I left the room. We have completely cut off the contact. Although it was quite shocking and sad, I thought I would overcome it soon. How about you? If you were me, what would you do? Please let me know what you think in the comments.